What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all doing well. Today I've got for you an unbelievable story. If you're a fan of wedding drama, narcissistic parents, and just good old-fashioned Reddit family chaos, then this is the story for you. Sit back, relax, drop a like on this one if you do go on to enjoy it, and subscribe to my channel for more content like this in the future. Let's get into this absolute monstrosity of a post. Am I the jerk for laughing at my stepson and ruining his wedding? This was originally posted on April the 18th, 2025. For context, I've been married to my husband for just over 20 years. We started dating when my stepkids were 5 and 3. Our kids are Adam, he's 28, stepkid 1. Ben, he's 26, stepkid 2. Charles, who's 20, David, who's 17, and Ellie, who is 13. Adam is getting married at the end of summer to his fiancée Alice, who's 27. We've all been very excited for them. All of the kids have roles for the wedding. Charles is the best man, the other 2 boys are groomsmen, and Ellie is a junior bridesmaid. Last weekend, we had a dinner for my husband's birthday. All of the kids attended along with Alice. The topic of the wedding came up, and this is where it started to go downhill. Ellie brought up that she was so excited to go dress shopping and that we plan to go to a bigger city in a few weeks to get her a dress, and me a stepmom of the groom dress. At that, Alice looked at Adam sideways and responded that we only needed to worry about one dress, Ellie's. Ellie kind of laughed and said, "What are you expecting mum to wear then? A suit?" Alice responded with, "Well, she's not going. You know, we're keeping our guest list very limited to only family and a few close friends." What? Adam and Alice have been to our house numerous times for holidays, dinners, just to say hi since they've been engaged. This has never been brought up. Pretty quickly, things escalated. The Cliff Notes version is that Charles asked them to clarify if they were choosing to uninvite me now or if I was never invited. Alice confirmed the latter. Why? Well, Adam said it's because I'm not his mum. Charles, David, and Ellie argued with Adam and Alice that none of them were going to go if I wasn't invited, that it was cruel to leave me out, given I've been his parent for a majority of his life and loved him like my own. My husband and I admittedly sat there for a minute, just freaking shocked. Adam finally turned to my husband and said, "Well?" My husband told him he wouldn't be going either. Adam then turned to me and asked if I was really going to let everyone ruin his wedding on my behalf. Here's where I might be the jerk. I just laughed. I don't know what came over me, but the entire thing was just so ridiculous that laughing was the only thing I could get out. I told my husband I'd be waiting in the car, and I left. And then I promptly bawled my eyes out. Oh man. Anyways, Charles, David, and Ellie are not talking to Adam. Adam called my husband yesterday to try and smooth things over. He was still adamant that I'm not invited, and it's their wedding though. He also requested that I apologize for laughing at him. My husband told him, "Tough trash. It's their wedding and they can invite whoever they want, but they can't control who will actually go." He said they owe me an apology and that Adam should be ashamed of himself. I'm getting texts now asking what the F I did and why I'm being a step monster and ruining the wedding. So am I the jerk? Wow. Obviously not, but goodness me. What a start to this story. Now, I want to immediately get into the comments here because this comment I think is very, very apt. Somebody said, "I feel like there's actually a lot missing here. You've been married to his dad since he was 8. That was years of elementary, middle, high school, college, 20 years. Is his mother still alive? Did his fiancée influence him? Just seems odd to not invite his dad's wife of 20 years and then call her not family. I don't think you're the jerk, but I just want to know more about the past 20 years. And I think that's very important because without that context, looking at this, you just be like, okay, what is going on? Adam and Alice are ridiculous here. Or Alice has such a hold over Adam or whatever. But, you know, we don't know for sure what OP's role has been in Adam's life. We just know she's been around for a long time, but we don't actually know what their relationship is. So I'm happy that somebody asked this in the comments down below. And OP replied saying, "I'm sorry, I had to cut out a lot for the character count to post. On r/AmITheJerk, there is quite a limited character count." Anyway, when Adam called, my husband did ask him if I'd done anything. If it was related to his bio mum, she's never gotten along with us. If I'd overstepped in any way. Adam says, no, it's just they want family only. Adam's stepdad is invited as far as we know. I was a stay-at-home mum for most of my stepkids' childhood, and we had 50-50. My husband has always worked a lot, but has been as involved as possible. The house and child rearing mostly fell to me though. I love our kids to pieces. I thought we'd made it clear from the beginning that I am/was another parent that loves them, not a replacement mum. We've never had any issues, and I thought up until now that we were particularly close. Our communication has slowed since he met Alice, but he was calling me about once or twice a week prior to this. Alice and I have gone shopping on occasion, got on lunch. I even went with her to the florist for the wedding because her mum wasn't available and Adam got called into work. There has to be something or someone causing an issue, and my husband and I are baffled. Somebody else asked, is his mum invited? OP said, yeah, as far as we've heard, the stepdad is also invited. We, my husband and I, have never gotten along with the mum, but we still play nice as we still have 50-50 of my younger stepson, Ben. Adam and his mum had a falling out a few years ago as she was starting to treat him the way she's always treated my husband and I. That is, poorly. I don't really know how to nicely explain other than she's a narcissist. Adam hasn't wanted to talk about it much and we won't push it. I know they talk and visit, but how close they are, I've got no idea. Somebody asked about, custody of Ben at 26? Yeah, he's disabled. He can choose where he's staying as he likes, but he mostly sticks to a 50-50 schedule, unless there is a family event or vacation. He's pretty independent, but he's not able to live on his own. Guardianship is probably a better word for what we have now instead of custody. So, with all that context, somebody then said, well, you're absolutely not the jerk then. Assuming that you and Adam have gotten along fine until now, it's absolutely wild that they wouldn't invite you. Only family and a few close friends. A step-parent literally counts as family. And the nerve to accuse you of ruining his wedding, I don't blame you for laughing. Yeah, I agree with that. It's just so shocking that you either laugh or cry. And OP did one and then the next. It makes sense to me. I mean, that's a genuinely very reasonable reaction to something that is as outright hilarious, really, as that. OP then said, it's probably also relevant, but my husband's parents are long since deceased. My parents, dad, stepmom and mum, have been very involved with all of the kids since they were little. They're also not going, since if I'm not family, they're not either. My brother and sister-in-law, their daughter, my cousin, they call him uncle, and several of my other family members that have been around since my stepkids were little have also dropped. They're up to about 20 people who have rescinded their yes RSVP for a wedding of maybe 60. Now, thankfully, another commenter picked up on something that I just realized. Wait, hold up. So your family was invited, but not you? Then what the heck did Adam expect when it came out that you're not invited? Well, that's my family's take. Why are they invited, but I'm not? They aren't related to my stepkids by blood either, but they're apparently family? To be fair, my family is larger than my husband's and my stepkids, stepdads and biomums. My stepkids were the first grandkids on my side. They were not with biomum and dad's families, and were absolutely spoiled rotten growing up. Charles is now supposed to meet Adam for a coffee over the weekend. I've warned him that truly I don't think it's coming from Adam and to try to be calm about it. Somebody else asked for some info. What is the nature of your relationship with Adam? Is his mother in the picture? And importantly, could his fiancée Alice be in his ear? I thought we were particularly close. Besides the normal teenager, I don't have to listen to you BS phase, we've never fought. We've always had him and Ben 50-50. As a teen and on, he's butted heads with his mum. There have been times over the years where Adam had come to my husband and I and asked questions from things his mum had said, but we've always been forthcoming with info. Example of that is that his mum called me a homewrecker. This upset Adam. Adam came annoyed at us. Explained that no, Bio mum and dad were long since broken up, and mum even had a fiancé who was not current stepdad when I met dad. Pulled receipts. Then Adam got upset with his mum. Blew over and on to the next thing. We still deal with Bio mum though, and do have a hard time believing she'd pull something at this point. Alice and I aren't super close, but I thought we had a good relationship. I've always tried to include her. Sometimes she takes up my offer, sometimes she doesn't. I know she sees Bio mum quite a bit, and that side of Adam's family too. She was raised by her grandparents, and she doesn't talk about her bio parents often. Somebody else asked, how did Ben react to this? At this point, I probably wouldn't go to the wedding, and I'd block him and his future wife. They would have to grovel in order for me to go. They made it clear they don't see you as family, so you don't need to do anything for them going forward. OP said that Ben was very upset and confused. He is autistic, so what exactly the argument is about doesn't quite click, but he's mostly upset that Adam says I'm not their parent and his siblings are all fighting. We've sat him down since and explained that I love him dearly and I'll never go anywhere. All of us love Adam, we're just hurt. He himself can choose to go to the wedding or not. He doesn't have to choose sides, we'll still love him if he goes. Honestly, he probably will. He loves cake and dancing. He seems to be doing just fine since. He's not asked about Adam, but we'll go to his mum's tomorrow and probably see him there. OP added a little bit more context down below as well, just info on everyone's relationships, saying, "It was hard to include every bit of context in the post because of that character limit, but I quit my job when Charles was 6 months old. Adam would have been 8, almost 9. No affair. I met my husband when he'd been divorced for over a year. Bio mum was engaged to somebody else. If you ask their bio mum, she'll say I've always overstepped. If you ask her how, she'll give examples like I went to school events. Well, so did stepdad. I helped with homework. I spent too much time with them. She would thank me for loving her kids so much and then turn around and berate my husband for me loving kids that aren't hers too much. Another example is that in the beginning, she wanted to communicate with me directly more. Said she loved the communication and that I was easier to deal with than my husband. Next argument with my husband, she brought up that I was weird and too involved and she shouldn't have to talk to me whatsoever. I've not talked to her since. Periodically, she's brought up that I was easier to talk to and she doesn't understand why communication just has to go through my husband. Well, after several years of trying to appease her, we quit to just focus on keeping our family happy and supported. It's been 23 years now of dealing with her. I've been to therapy multiple times to resolve whatever issues she says I have. It did actually help with strategies to deal with her. Truly, it's just that she has mental issues. Their dad did work a lot. He's always been on nights. It's changed slightly over the years, but we had stepkids Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and every other Monday. His days off have always fell over those days, so he can spend the maximum amount of time with them. But usually he worked 1 to 2 of those nights. Very rarely would he work overtime on days we had my stepkids. Usually he would though on days we didn't. We still currently try to do dates on days when Ben is not with us. I hope that makes sense and clears up some questions. Now somebody asked for a little bit more detail on Alice, and I feel like when we get into the update of this story, and I'm just guessing here because I haven't read any further, but I think Alice is going to be an integral part. Surely it's come from her. Right now, I just cannot see how this is coming from Adam. But anyway, somebody asked, are Alice's parents still together? Has she assumed you're some kind of evil stepmother? Does she have a bad relationship with her stepmom and doesn't want to invite her? OP said, her, quotes, mum and dad are actually her grandparents. She's not talked about it much with me specifically, but her bio mum is deceased, drugs, and her bio father is in prison. She's talked about it some with my husband, who was adopted by his aunt and uncle, father not in the picture, and mother died from cancer when he was 4. My stepmom has also talked with her at one point because she too was adopted by her grandparents for similar reasons. It just adds to our confusion. We've got such a mix of types of family, regardless of blood. My mum has been laying it on thick that I need to smooth things over because family is family, and I'm the parent, so it's my responsibility to fix it. But frick, I'm not ready to talk to Adam. Now, to briefly summarize this comment, they pretty much say that they think there is a bad actor here, but they do not think it's OP. From everything they've seen of OP's writing and how she acts in the comments and what she says about her relationship with Adam, with Ben, etc., she's a good mum. And I agree with that. I think it's pretty clear, right? You can tell by someone's writing and stuff that, you know, they are not the issue in this story. I think we can all agree on that. Anyway, OP says, thank you for your thoughtful comment. Adam will always be my first son, whether he thinks of me as his mum or not. I thought we've been pretty clear throughout the years that I love him, regardless of what he thinks of me, and that my involvement extends to whatever he wants of me, and some fair non-negotiables. Mostly safety things, chores his dad agreed on when I asked, that kind of thing. I couldn't get in with my therapist this week, but I do have an appointment next week, and we will try to formulate a well thought out response back. I'm certainly not a perfect person or parent, but I won't intentionally sabotage him further. I do love a good revenge story, as do I, but that's not it when it comes to my kids. I've talked to the youngest 3 and they've reassured me that it's their choice whether or not they go, and I won't push them on it. I've been reminding them that he is still their brother and it doesn't sound like him. Mostly for Charles, he's very outspoken and protective. Charles is supposed to meet with him this weekend, and I'm hoping we'll get some clearer answers from that. And then, 5 days later, April the 23rd, we got this update. Thank you to everyone who responded to my post. Most of you were kind and offer good advice. I appreciate it. Before I give an update, I just want to answer a few frequently asked questions. 1, I am not an affair partner. My husband didn't cheat on his ex-wife with me. We met about a year after they divorced. She was already engaged, not to current stepdad. Not that that really matters. And 2, Ben was at the dinner. He's autistic. I went into it some more in the comments, but he was very upset. He doesn't understand the argument. He was mostly upset at Adam for saying I'm not their parent, and then at all the siblings for fighting with each other, as we heard before. Anyways, the update. The short is, if you guessed it was related to Biomum, you were correct. I didn't want this to be the case. Oh, interesting. That is really interesting. Throughout all of this, I sort of thought it would be Alice, but the fact is Biomum is super interesting. Okay, and by the way, I'm sure a lot of you in the comments got that before me, a lot of you listening right now, but I wasn't sure. Adam rescheduled with Charles for Monday, citing Easter weekend. Fair enough. He also texted my husband to let him know that him and Alice would be doing Easter with her parents. We expected that. At some point on Sunday, Ellie texted Alice. Just a reminder, Ellie is OP's youngest child, just 13 years old. I'm not sure what exactly was said, but it prompted Alice to spill everything that was going on with her parents. I've met them a few times, but they live a few hours away. They encouraged her and Adam to reach out to us to clear everything up. Monday, we dropped Ben off to Biomum's. He stayed an extra night for Easter fun. A few hours later, she began to blow up my husband's phone as Ben mentioned the fight. My husband answered one call in which she was screaming and promptly hung up. He texted her that the siblings argued, everything's fine, and that if Ben has any further questions, we will talk about it when he's back with us. From some of the things she texted, we knew she was the root of all of this. Monday, Adam also met up with Charles, and he did come clean. Charles texted us to see if it was okay if they come over after, and we said yes. I'm not going to lie, Adam looked a mess. He immediately began crying and apologizing. The short and sweet is that he's been trying to mend bridges with his biomum. Their wedding isn't 60 people, it's blown up to about double that, and they've been struggling to figure out how to pay for it. At one of their visits, Alice let it slip, and Adam's biomum jumped to help pay for things. It slowly snowballed from there, from small requests to big requests. I'm not sure what the final nail in the coffin was, but it ended with biomum requesting I not be there. Adam said it was easier to hurt me than risk World War III with his biomum. Alice's parents were less than pleased to find out how they've been with the wedding and budget, and even less so at Adam's biomum's antics. They're trying to figure out how to start covering the payments that biomum has made. We've decided to help some with this. Adam also asked if we could meet again in a few days with Alice, and we've said yes. There's still a lot of ground to cover for this to be close to mended. I'm still hurt, but mostly I'm angry on behalf of my oldest son. Okay, there we go. Very interesting final line, I've got to say, and very interesting story on the whole. But the first thing that comes to my mind is, why are you feeling sorry or angry on behalf of Adam? I don't understand that. You should be feeling angry because of Adam, not for him. Like, he is the one throughout all of this that has shown no backbone at all, has never stood up for you, and has chosen money over his stepmom, who's been in his life for how many years? Like, over 20. That's crazy. Like, I get it. You love him. But you've got to open your eyes and see that he is the reason why this has happened. He doesn't need the money. Like, he's been dumb enough to be like, oh, the wedding's got too big. Close it down then. Make it smaller. It's not that hard. Like, if you're choosing money from someone that, you know, you don't really like that much, or I suppose, look, it's just biomum, yeah, but there's been a lot of issues, it seems like, throughout their lives together. And then you're then just neglecting someone who's been amazing in your life because of a little bit of cash for a wedding, then you are a disgrace. I'm sorry, you just are. I mean, someone has said in the comments down below, which made me laugh, is it even legal for Alice to get married to an invertebrate? citing the lack of spine Adam is showing here. And I don't know the rules. I've never tried. I'm not like attracted to ants. But yeah, can you marry an ant? Let me know in the comments down below. I mean, it's just crazy, like the lack of loyalty. This woman has raised you since you were 5 and you've chosen a little bit of cash because you accidentally invited too many people to your wedding. You are a genuine disgrace, Adam. I'm sorry. Like, I can have a go at Alice here, but I wrongly thought it was her fault. Maybe she's like, okay, we need to have a bigger wedding. We need more people. Let's get the money from your bio mum, which is, again, bad, but we don't know that for sure. She is also to blame, of course. Bio mum is clearly just a weird person, but I'm sorry. I've got to look at Adam and no further because he could have stopped it and said, no, I'm choosing love over money, but he didn't. And ultimately, that all comes down to him. Anyway, guys, that is going to do it for this one. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below on this story in its entirety. Do you agree with what I've just said there or not? Very interested, as always, to hear your thoughts. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel if you're new around here by clicking this button for more content like this each and every day. I'm really trying my hardest to post daily at the moment. If you want more content like this, check out this episode on screen. It's another relationship, wedding, drama sort of story. And stay tuned for tomorrow's episode where I'll be bringing you an update to a 15-year-old story.